What is up, Wizards fans? Welcome into another Department of Hoops pregame show. I'm Matt Modderno. This is Arlo Modderno right next to me here, joining me for the podcast today. Needed a good co-host, and he watches as much Wizards as anybody at this point in the season. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. This is his first time appearing as a co-host, so we're gonna just give him a full evaluation here. But Thanksgiving just happened. Thankful for all of you that are still sick enough to be still supporting this team and listening to this podcast at this point in the season. You can see Arlo has already given up on that for those watching on the YouTube stream. So don't really blame him. Not feeling great about this Bucks game. But we'll get into that here more in a second. Brought to you by Stateside Vodka and their Surfside Hard Iced Teas, hard lemonades, hard every flavor you can think of. We need all of them, basically, just given where the Wizards are at so far in their year, losing 13 straight. Also brought to you by BetOnline. This Thanksgiving holiday, why not head to the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting? BetOnline. For the latest odds and in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with constant real-time odds in action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds from everything from NFL, NBA, college basketball, NHL, UFC, boxing, head to the website today and see why BetOnline is America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here. Okay, so all right, let's just get into it here. The Wizards play the Bucks tonight. Milwaukee was awful to start the year. I kept checking and checking, and every week it was like, oh, okay, Milwaukee is tied with the Wizards basically for one of the worst records in the league. They've turned it around. They're now 9-9. They've won 5 straight. The Wizards are 2-15 and have lost 13 in a row. Great job from the team front office here in the deconstruction phase of things. So right where we're supposed to be apparently, because they are on pace for the number one pick. And there's a lot of dudes in this draft I'm feeling good about. Been watching a lot of college basketball so far. And as long as you get somewhere in that top 5, feeling pretty good about things. And the only way to guarantee a top 5 pick is to finish with the worst odds in the draft. So there we go. We're right on schedule here. Milwaukee is looking to climb above 500 for the first time since winning their season opener. So, they could use this. I think they need the momentum just where they are kind of in a, franchise, phase of things, right? Right. It's just kind of interesting to see what they're doing with their roster. The starting 5 will most likely, unless something changes in the last 15 minutes here, based on what they've announced, it'll be Damian Lillard, Andre Jackson, a young, bouncy, kind of point forwardy wing out of Connecticut, Torian Prince, or the ghost of Torian Prince at this point. I honestly didn't know he was still contributing at the level he's contributing at, that he's starting NBA games, but they need perimeter defense so bad, and at least he's smart and knows where to be. Obviously, Giannis, who is sort of dealing with some tendinopathy in his knee, so that's going to be interesting to see where he's at. He did not play at the last minute in their last game against the Heat, which they did still win. So probably won't be at 100%. He may not play the whole game. I'm almost wondering, if you're playing a 2-15 Wizards team, why you really put him through this if he's dealing with knee soreness. He's been managing pain in his right knee all season. This seems like the perfect opportunity for a team to get a guy some rest and still be able to win a game. But maybe they're just saying like, hey, we can't afford to lose to the lowly Wizards from a morale standpoint or a be laughing stock of the league standpoint. The only thing I can think of here, or maybe it's kind of one of those things where like a baseball team brings a pitcher back for some minor league reps to get him ready before giving him some innings back, at the big league level. That's kind of unfortunately, the parallel of where I think the Wizards are right now. The Wizards, like I said, have lost 13 straight. The Pistons set the record in 23 with 28 in a row. Be interesting to see if the Wizards can go for history here and try to beat that. Wizards starting 5 here tonight has been announced as Jordan Poole, Malcolm Brogdon, Bilal Coulibaly, Alex Sarr, and Jonas Valanciunas. So gonna be, just a big plotting front court game. I think I get it. Like against Giannis, you do need a little beef up there. And Brook Lopez can also bang around the paint if he wants to as well. So I'm not really mad at the starting 5 in this one. I don't usually like to see Valanciunas start, but, got to do what you got to do here sometimes. So this is why you got him. And maybe there's an opportunity for him to look good while other teams are actually kind of paying attention to the result. If you do well against that front court in Milwaukee, maybe you still got a little juice left. But I would also expect similarly for Dame Lillard to be trying to hunt him in pick and roll as much as humanly possible. As we've seen most of the year, the Wizards are switching almost everything. So, with Valanciunas, that's a little tougher to do, obviously. So we'll see what that particular matchup looks like. As noted, there is no Kyle Kuzma, who is out for a couple weeks now, dealing with some injury stuff here, which is obviously great for trade value if you're looking to move on from him. Just kidding. Just Bilal Coulibaly stats. He averages almost 18 points per game, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, shoots 60% from the field and 36% from three. While Kyle Kuzma is out, with Kyle Kuzma in, he's down to 11 points per game, 5 rebounds, a little under 3 assists. So those don't really change much. It's really just the scoring and the aggressiveness and the amount of shot attempts. He shoots 42% from the field and 28% from three. So some of that is just noise over a small sample size. It may not mean all that much, but at the very least, he has been more tentative. While Kuzma's out there, he's more deferential. And Jihadi and I talked about this on our last podcast, which, by the way, we will get back to a more regular cadence of that. He and I here coming up soon. Just been a lot of travel on both our parts. So thank you for being patient over the holidays here. And then things will slow down for both of us, I think, a little bit closer to the Christmas holiday. So we'll fit in a bunch of those and catch up on anything. So if you have stuff Jihadi can weigh in on for you or answer for you, please just shoot me a note and I'll add those to the rundowns for us. But yeah, you need Coulibaly to be aggressive here, and I'd like to see some of the young guys here additionally kind of take advantage of these extra opportunities, extra minutes, extra reps. Like to see more from Keyshawn George. Going back and forth with some buddies in the group chat about this today, and just where the Wizards are at from a shooting perspective. They are dead last in percentage of wide open 3-pointers made. But I got to think there's more to it than that, right? Like they're getting a lot of wide open 3-pointers as well. But if I'm another team in the NBA, I'm saying like, just let these dudes shoot. They can't make them. I'll let Alex Sarr shoot, until his elbow gets tired. I'll let Keyshawn George keep throwing him up. Honestly, at this point, they might as well let Corey Kispert shoot. At least he's got a sample size and a track record of making those shots at the NBA level. So I don't think they're going to, just stop guarding him outright. But until guys make shots, and NBA is a prove it to me league, and these young guys have not proved it yet. And other than Bub Carrington, who's shooting at like around league average efficiency from three, and Jordan Poole, who's considerably above average, nobody else on this team should be taking as many threes as they are. Like no one's taking crazy volume, but they're also just not making it. So to me, as a coach, I would say at some point, like, hey, get to the rim, get downhill, and you can't, three is obviously more than two, but zero is less than two. So if you can't make the threes, I get theoretically it's good to take them, but if you can't make the shot, it's not a good shot, no matter how wide open it is. So certain guys, I think I'd give a little more leeway to than others. Like Keyshawn, it still looks good. Sarr still looks a little clunky. And just given his size and honestly speed advantage against most of the bigs he covers, I'd love to see him just like drive to the rim. I was just watching Kansas play Furman right before recording this, and KJ Adams for Kansas is sort of like a mini Alex Sarr in that like he's a big athletic forward who could put the ball on the floor and do all these things, but he can't really shoot yet. But they found ways to has you like facilitate him being a cutter, or let him drive on people, or catch the ball kind of going downhill already and just one dribble and then kind of put it up. Like there are things you can do to set him up to be more successful than, well, the wide open three. Look how great our offense is. Shoot this thing that you've proven that you can't make so far this season. So just anything has to be better than what they've been doing to put these guys in positions to be successful. But hey, let's see. From Bucket Getter in the chat, let JP cook with this team. Bilal and JP are a great duo. Sarr should have the green light to develop. Green light to develop, yeah. Green light to chuck wide open threes that he can't seem to make over and over again. No. Let's set him up to be actually successful. And when you score a little around the rim, then we back you away from the hoop a little bit. Alex in Adelaide asked if there's a tournament match tonight. I don't believe so. It doesn't show up that way on the schedule, but there's been a couple of those that they haven't had the right color coding to. So we'll see. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll get to it in the post game here. If it is one of these tournament games, I'm probably less likely to stay for the entire game if it's a blowout and they're playing on these ugly ass courts. I know some people like them. I just can't do it. It hurts me to watch. It's an affront to basketball. But so is going 2-15. So it is what it is. I guess that's the court we deserve for where we're at here. OBJ said, I need Bilal to be more aggressive regardless of who's on the floor. I'm with you, man. Like, as usual, we're on the same page on this, right? Like, he's got to have that mindset. And it's something I'd like from him to just get, like, via osmosis being around Poole and Kuzma. They're willing to just say F it, regardless of who else is on the court. And at some point, you're being so unselfish, it's selfish. Like I keep saying that one, but like you need him to just say, like, all right, me taking a shot is better than one of these other dudes taking another shot that they're clanking off the rim. Like I've got to go drive to the rim. And that's what you want from Koulibaly is just like if he's going to be the star that his potential shows you like he could be theoretically, he's got to have the mindset to go with it. And I don't know about you, I've never seen a star player that defers to others. Like that's just, I mean, to an extent, right? But like he can't be so deferential to other guys that are younger than him and not as good as him right now. So, or older guys even that aren't as good as him. It's just at some point you got to look around and say like, this is actually this team's best option. Oh, Jordan Poole's not on the court and Kuzma's out hurt. Like I'm the guy right now. So that's what I'd like to see more of from Koulibaly. Bucket Getter said, and defense, defense, defense. We need to play D. I like Star going to the rim in his mid range. I just meant let him be aggressive. Totally agree. I love his coast to coast buckets. Also agree with that. Like that's the value he adds to you is just sort of that interesting skill set as a grab and go guy, or at least starting the break and then advancing the ball up the court. But this team just has to defend better. Like they just don't have the shooting. This is one I keep going back to as well, is Brian Keefe talking about like we don't need a dedicated shooting coach because all of our coaches can teach shooting. Yeah, okay. I mean, Brian Keefe was a 37% college 3-point shooter. Uh, I don't remember off the top of my head, but assistant coach TJ Sorrentine, who I loved as a college player, and I really like the idea of him as an assistant coach on this team. But he was also a 37% 3-point shooter in college as well. And then you've got JJ Outlaw, that was a college football player on the staff. Like, again, not knocking these additions to the staffs, but like I'm not seeing Kyle Korver, coming off the bench here to teach these guys a thing or two. Like it would be nice if one of you was at least an elite shooter and you were going to make that claim. And it's not saying that you have to be an all-timer at something to be able to teach it. That's not obviously always the case, but I'd have a little more confidence in it if this guy, somebody had specific track record they could point to as a development guy on the shooting front. Because just every one of these young guys that they've brought in so far, like they need help. Keyshawn was the one I thought would least need help, and he can't make anything right now. And I'm sure some of that is confidence and settling in and things like that. But there's clearly work to be done on the form front for all these young guys too. So we'll see if they can do any of it tonight here. I think that's really their only chance in this game is if they can get hot from three and play just a little bit of defense. That would be kind of probably wishful thinking, but hey, we'll take it. The Wizards are listed as 15.5-point underdogs in this game, and the over-under is set at 230.5. That's like probably exactly the number I would pick is 230. So I'm going to just still slightly take the over. I think when in doubt with the Wizards involved, you always take the over. And more times than not, you're probably going to come out of here with a little bit of money. So we'll see how it goes. All right. I appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll be back after the game here. Again, this is Department of Hoops. Please click that little like button for us on YouTube if you're watching. And also the subscribe button to the channel, trying to get this thing over 1,000 subscribers. Really appreciate all the stuff that you guys do for us to make this a fun community. Thanks to everybody for checking in here in the chat. And, we'll see you guys after the game here. Last comment, OBJ said, regardless what anyone says, losing by 30 every night can't be good for the culture. It can't. I mean, you saw this with the process Sixers, the ones who got their ass kicked. Those weren't the guys that were there when the team was good again. And, most of those were fringe, marginal NBA guys anyway. But at some point, you do start to pick up bad habits and things like that too. So just got to be competitive at least, regardless of what the score is. And hopefully some better things happen. Shout out John Smith. See you after the game as well. All right, everybody. Like I said, you know the drill. We're brought to you by betonline.ag, and we'll catch you all in a couple hours.